Title: Echoes of the Abyss. A descent into darkness, two friends, David and Alex, found themselves lost in the treacherous labyrinthine passages of a place known only as the Abyss. This forsaken realm was enveloped in darkness, a thick, inky veil that seemed to cling to every surface. It was a world where silence reigned supreme, occasionally shattered by distant moans and whispers that sent shivers down their spine. On this particular day, their journey took an unexpected and terrifying turn. The ground beneath their feet gave way suddenly, plunging them into a gaping hole. Their descent was halted by a pool of water, its surface as black as the void itself. David landed on the uneven ground adjacent to the pool, while Alex, in a less fortunate twist of fate, plunged headfirst into the inky waters. Both scrambled to their feet, drenched and disoriented, but miraculously unharmed. "Are you all right, Alex?" David called out as he extended a hand to help his friend out of the water. Alex emerged from the pool, sputtering and dripping. He gave David a wry grin and accepted the offered hand. "I've had better days," he replied, his voice laced with a touch of humor despite their predicament. As they caught their breath, David couldn't help but feel a sense of unease that seemed to hang in the air like an unspoken truth. "What do you make of this place?" David wondered aloud, his gaze fixed on the seemingly bottomless pool. Alex scanned their surroundings, his eyes flicking to the shadows that seemed to inch closer with every passing moment. "It's hard to say, but we've been meaning to find a new camp spot anyway. This place doesn't seem much different from the rest of the Abyss." With a nod of agreement, they continued their journey, their footsteps echoing through the damp tunnels. As they walked, the uneasy feeling persisted, a constant companion in this world of perpetual darkness. "What do you think is worse?" David took a look at Alex. "This, or back then up there? Remember how bad of a hell we called it?" Alex put his head down, thought about it for a second, and turned to David. "If up there was hell, then this is simply the void. This is the place where you feel alone when you have everyone comforting you. Everything here is just so dreadful." David, listening attentively, replied, "Yeah, what did we do to deserve this? And the lost, I would have hatred for them, but I understand it. I wish we could just have time to talk with the hostile ones. The non-hostile ones don't even know either. They are simply so wasted they don't have time to care about us." But even as they spoke, their words seemed to hang in the air like echoes of a bygone era that has slipping further away with each passing moment. The lost ones' tormented souls, twisted by sorrow and mutation, watched them from the shadows. Their hollow eyes followed every step, their mournful gaze a haunting presence in the darkness. These particular lost ones made no move to attack, serving as a grim reminder that not all encounters with their kind were hostile. The tunnel stretched on endlessly, its walls bearing witness to the passage of countless souls lost to the abyss. It was a place of sorrow and despair, where every corner concealed hidden torment. David and Alex walked in silence, the weight of the abyss pressing down on them. It was a realm where the line between reality and nightmare blurred, a world where every shadow held a secret, and every sound carried the weight of despair. David and Alex ventured deeper into the heart of the abyss, their lantern casting a faint, flickering glow that barely pierced the oppressive darkness. The unrelenting silence weighed on them, broken only by the occasional distant moan or whisper that sent shivers down their spines. As they walked, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Shadows seemed to move in the corners of their vision, and faint whispers echoed through the tunnels, a haunting chorus of despair from the lost ones who dwelled in the abyss. Their journey led them through a series of winding tunnels, each more foreboding than the last. The walls bore strange, twisted symbols that seemed to writhe and pulse with a malevolent energy. It was as if the very stone itself was tainted by the suffering of those who had once walked these paths. Finally, they arrived in a vast chamber that seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. Strange symbols adorned the walls, their meaning lost to time. At the center of the chamber, a pool of phosphorescent water cast an eerie, bluish glow that danced and shimmered in the darkness. But what truly caught their attention was the treasure trove that lay before them. The chamber was filled with ancient relics, artifacts, and treasures of a bygone era. Piles of tarnished gold coins, jeweled trinkets, and ornate statues gleamed in the soft light, scattered haphazardly across the chamber's uneven floor. David and Alex stared in awe at the riches that surrounded them, their lantern's feeble glow reflecting off the glittering hoard. It was as if they had stumbled upon a forgotten treasure room hidden deep within the abyssal depths. This is incredible, David whispered, his voice filled with wonder. He reached down to pick up a jeweled necklace, its gems catching the light and casting colorful reflections on the chamber walls. Alex nodded in agreement and scratched himself while a sense of disbelief washed over him. I never thought we'd find something like this down here. It's like a glimpse into a world that no longer exists. They carefully explored the chamber, marveling at the riches that lay before them. Each artifact they discovered seemed to hold a story of its own, a piece of history lost to the ravages of time. But as they continued to sift through the treasure, a feeling of unease settled over them. It was as if the weight of the riches was too great, a reminder of the world they had lost. Treasures seemed to whisper to them, their voices a haunting echo of a past that could never be reclaimed. As David and Alex delved deeper into the treasure trove, they couldn't help but wonder who had amassed such wealth in the heart of the abyss. What had become of the person or people who had once called this chamber their own? The answers remained elusive, hidden beneath layers of history and despair. In that chamber, surrounded by the remnants of a forgotten era, David and Alex were reminded of the true nature of the abyss, an unforgiving realm where the past and present converged in a tapestry of darkness and sorrow. David and Alex continued to explore the treasure-filled chamber in awe and wonder, their lantern casting a dim glow over the glittering artifacts. The riches seemed to stretch on endlessly, a testament to a world that had long since crumbled into the abyss. As they sifted through the piles of coins and jewels, their fascination grew. Each artifact held a unique story, a piece of history that had been lost to time. It was as if they were piecing together the puzzle of a forgotten civilization, one treasure at a time. But as minutes turned into hours, a sense of unease settled over them. The weight of the riches began to feel oppressive, as if the treasures themselves were cursed with the despair of the abyss. Chamber silence seemed to grow heavier, and shadows danced ominously along the walls. Suddenly, a low, mournful wail echoed through the chamber, sending a chill down their spines. The eerie sound seemed to emanate from the darkness itself, and David and Alex exchanged anxious glances. What was that? David whispered, his voice barely audible over the sound of their racing hearts. Alex shook his head, his eyes scanning the chamber for any sign of movement. I don't know, but we should be careful. This place gives me the creeps. Just as they began to cautiously back away from the treasure, a figure emerged from the shadows. A lost one, its grotesque form twisted by mutation and sorrow. It moved with a slow, deliberate grace, its hollow eyes fixed on the intruders. Fear gripped David and Alex as they realized the lost one's intent. It let out a mournful, keening cry, its voice a haunting lament that sent shivers down their spines. Without hesitation, they turned and fled from the chamber, their lantern's light flickering as they raced through the dark tunnels. Their pursuer was relentless, its haunting cries echoing through the labyrinthine passages. David and Alex ran blindly, their breath coming in ragged gasps. They had no choice but to find refuge, to escape the relentless pursuit of the lost one. Finally, they stumbled upon a broken chapel. Its shattered stained glass windows cast colorful patterns of light on the decaying pews and crumbling altar. It was a sanctuary in the heart of the abyss, a place of solace amid the darkness. David and Alex rushed inside, their panting breaths echoing in the chapel's hallowed halls. They knew they couldn't stay hidden for long, but for now, the chapel offered a fleeting respite from the relentless pursuit of the lost one. As they caught their breath, David and Alex looked at each other. Holy shit, man. Are they getting more aggressive? David pondered. Alex looked over to David. It feels like it, at least this one, specifically. They could hear the lost banging on the door. Gonna break that thing soon. We can't stay here, David whispered urgently. We need to keep moving. Alex nodded in agreement, his eyes filled with fear and determination. They knew that their only chance of survival was to outrun their pursuer and find a safer refuge deeper within the abyss. With their lantern in hand, they crept out of the chapel and back into the labyrinthine passages. The shadows seemed to cling to them, and the oppressive darkness pressed in from all sides. They moved swiftly but cautiously, their ears straining for any sign of the pursuing lost one. The eerie cries grew louder, and the lost one's presence felt ever closer. As they continued their desperate flight through the heart of the abyss, David and Alex reached a dead-end corridor, a wall of solid stone blocking their path. Panic welled up inside them as they turned to retrace their steps, but it was too late. The haunting cries had reached a deafening crescendo, and the lost one appeared at the entrance to the corridor, its grotesque form contorted by mutation and sorrow. In a moment of sheer terror, the lost one lunged forward, its bony fingers reaching out for Alex. With a cry of fear, Alex turned and sprinted down the corridor, his lantern casting wild shadows in his wake. David didn't have time to look or see what was happening, so he ran back into the chapel and hid. He heard Alex screaming as he yelled, "I will lead it away, hide, and come back here. Just stay here." David, left behind in the broken chapel, could only listen to the echoes of his friends' cries as they faded into the depths of the abyssal darkness. It was a grim reminder of the unforgiving nature of this forsaken realm, where hope is a fleeting illusion and survival came at a terrible cost. Alex's paw running with all his might. He felt the creature clawing at his every move. Its anger and sadness radiated everywhere. By a stroke of luck, Alex found a narrow pathway, too small for these 10-foot tall beasts to roam in as he ducked and ran inside exhausted. The echoes of Alex's frantic escape still resonated in his mind as he found himself in a small, dimly lit chamber deep within the abyss. His body ached with an intensity he had never known before, each movement sending waves of excruciating pain coursing through his limbs. Desperation welled up inside him as he attempted to move, but his muscles refused to respond. It was as if his body had betrayed him, as if the relentless pursuit had left a lasting mark. His legs, once strong and agile, felt heavy and unyielding. Please, please, please. His blood-curdling screams were heard by no one except his now fellow lost ones and the darkness. Neither could do both but watch. Over the passing days, the pain intensified, and Alex's body began to wither. The flesh on his limbs grew emaciated and pallid as if his vitality was slowly being drained away. The agonizing transformation was a slow and torturous ordeal, and there was no escape from the torment that gripped him. As his body weakened, his mind became a battleground, a place where shadows whispered dreadful secrets and whispered promises of release. The cries of the lost ones in the distance grew louder, their mournful wails a haunting chorus that seemed to echo his own suffering. "No, no, please, David." Someone, his wretched screams were no use. With each passing moment, Alex's humanity slipped further away. He was trapped in a body that could no longer move, a vessel for the creeping darkness that had taken hold of him. The agony of his transformation was a relentless companion, a torment that seemed to stretch on endlessly. In the heart of the abyss, where despair and sorrow reigned supreme, Alex's painful metamorphosis continued. He could do nothing but lie there, his existence a cruel testament to the relentless horrors of this forsaken realm. He knew that it was only a matter of time before he joined the ranks of the lost ones, condemned to dwell in the depths of despair for all eternity. Upon gaining some energy during the transformation, he crawled out so when he finished he wouldn't be stuck. As Alex's painful transformation to a lost one neared its grim conclusion, a newfound hunger gnawed at his insides, a hunger that was insatiable and monstrous. His limbs, once feeble and unresponsive, began to regain a semblance of strength as his body underwent its nightmarish metamorphosis. Driven by an insatiable craving, Alex moved through the labyrinthine passages of the abyss, guided by an unrelenting urge to find sustenance. Cries of his fellow lost ones echoed through the tunnels, their mournful wails a chilling chorus that seemed to beckon him. With every step, Alex could feel the shadows that had whispered to him, that had taken root in his mind, urging him onward. They whispered of hunger and desire, of the hunt that awaited him in the darkness. And so he returned to the broken chapel, the very place where he had been with his former friend, David. The memories of their desperate flight still lingered in his mind, a haunting reminder of the torment that had brought him to this point. As he entered the chapel, the shadows seemed to dance around him, their presence growing ever more insistent. In the dim light of his lantern, Alex could see a figure huddled in the corner. The figure of David. David's eyes widened with terror as he saw the grotesque form of his friend approaching, his once human features twisted and contorted by the malevolent influence of the abyss. The lantern trembled in his hand. He didn't even know who he was. With a mournful cry, Alex lunged forward, driven by an insatiable hunger that could not be denied. David's screams of terror filled the chapel as he desperately tried to fend off the relentless assault, but it was futile. At that moment, the darkness of the abyss claimed its prey once more, and Alex feasted on the flesh of his former friend. The cries of the lost ones in the distance seemed to swell in chorus, their mournful wails a chilling symphony that echoed through the depths of despair. As Alex succumbed to his monstrous hunger, he became one with the lost ones, forever condemned to dwell in the darkness of the abyss. The chapel, once a sanctuary, had become a chamber of horrors, a place where hope had been devoured and despair reigned supreme. The labyrinthine passages of the abyss stretched on endlessly, a never-ending maze of darkness and torment. The shadows whispered their dreadful secrets, and the cries of the lost ones continued to echo through the tunnels, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lurked in the depths. In the heart of the abyss, David's voice was silenced forever, and Alex had become a creature of darkness, driven by an insatiable hunger that could never be sated. Treasure-filled chamber, once a glimmer of hope, was now a tomb of despair, a testament to the unforgiving nature of this forsaken realm. As time passed, the echoes of their former lives faded into nothingness, and the abyss claimed two more souls. It was a place where the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred, a world where darkness reigned supreme, and the depths of despair seemed bottomless. And so the story of David and Alex became another forgotten tale in the ever-expanding tapestry of the abyss, a realm where hope was but a flicker in the eternal darkness, and where the lost ones roamed, tormented and twisted by sorrow. In this desolate abyss, there was no escape, no redemption, only an endless cycle of suffering and despair. The end. As we conclude this harrowing journey through the depths of the abyss, we are reminded of the unforgiving nature of this forsaken realm. The story of David and Alex serves as a chilling reminder that in the darkest corners of existence, hope can be but a flicker, and despair knows no bounds. If you found this tale of darkness and horror captivating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tingling stories and thrilling adventures. Share your thoughts and comments below and let us know what other stories you'd like to explore in the future. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the abyss, where reality and nightmare converge, and where the echoes of lost souls continue to resonate in the eternal darkness. Until next time, stay curious and embrace the mysteries of the unknown. Goodbye, and may your dreams be free from the haunting shadows of the abyss.